Okay, we recently talked about Wireshark, and now we're going to talk about a built-in tool inside of Kali Linux and most Linux distributions that will do pretty much the same thing. It's called Tcpdump, and if you look at the man page, it's quite extensive. It's a lot of options here. Pretty much does the same thing that Wireshark does, except in just a text-only kind of basis. So what we're going to do is we'll just go through some of this. So you do sudo tcpdump, and you have to tell it what interface you want to use. We'll use -i for the interface, and on my computer it's called ETH0. Your computers may vary. Okay, so we're going to do that, and we're just going to hit enter. And it's going to basically catch every packet that's coming across the network. Okay, and if we stop this real quick, like right here, you can see this machine sourcing on port 9487 did a broadcast to 9478 on UDP. So you're just seeing the very basics, basically just the source IP and port and the dest IP and port, the protocol, and the length of the packet. So you have to assume a few things here, but we can expand this a little bit. So if we go now and do a -n, it will now not look up things. So like if you see up here where you see like MDNS multicast, and there's probably some other things up in here, like right here, Kali Linux, that machine right there going to Zen Wi-Fi. Those are basically DNS names. So what we can do is if we do a -n, it'll do it now, but it'll just give us names and ports. So like where it's saying .mdns is a port, or .http is a port, it'll now say, .80. Okay, so you can see here we have just straight up IPs and port numbers, which makes it a little bit easier, to be honest with you. Okay, but now we're still just getting a little bit of data. What if we do this? We still want -n, and let's say we want to capture the full sample length of the packet. Okay, so we'll just do -s for snaplen, and we'll just set it to 1500. So we'll catch 1500 bytes of the packet. Okay, so you're still getting everything because we haven't told it to do something different, but we are capturing the full snaplen of it, of 1500 bytes. So let's stop this, and now then we can show that by doing a $X. This will actually show the hexadecimal and the ASCII of what we're looking for. And now you can see the full size of the packets and stuff. So if the packet is only 100 bytes, it'll only show 100 bytes. But if it's 1500, it'll show 1500. But then, again, if it's over 1500, we're only going to show 1500. And you can see stuff flying through there. All right, so we'll stop that. Now, in most cases, you probably will want to specify a capture filter that would only grab what you're looking for. So let's do that. Let's do host. So we're going to capture a traffic to and from a particular machine. And we're going to jump over here to Firefox real quick. And I'm just going to copy this IP address. This is for exploit DB. Okay, so now we'll come down here and we're just going to capture traffic for anyone going to that IP address for exploit DB. Okay, so we hit enter, and you don't see anything happening because there's nothing going on to that host right now. But now if we come back here and refresh the web page, you can see it goes crazy back there. And it's basically taking everything going to or from that IP address and recording it. Okay, so if we come back over here and we hit Control C to stop it, we can now see, it captured a lot of data, and if we, it was redirected to port 443, well, I think initially I went to port 80, but it redirected to 443, so you're seeing that right here. So you're seeing this machine right here, the 86.144, which is the Kali Linux machine on port 54977. It went out to 192, 124, 249, 13, port 443 to grab that web page. Okay, and you get the whole thing here. If it was unencrypted, this would be over here in the ASCII side. This would be completely in clear text, and you'd be able to read everything that was happening. Okay, so let's do something a little bit different here. We could also do, instead of instead of saying stuff going for that particular host, we could do TCP port and whatever port we want to look at, like 443. Okay, so now if you see anything querying out on 443, it's going to show up in here. So if we jump back over here to exploit database and refresh the page again, you see all the requests going out. If we go look at one of these links, you see everything going out. So back over here, we'll hit Control C. And so you can see you can grab any kind of traffic you want, and it makes it really easy to work with from the command line without any of the overhead that you would have with Wireshark. Although Wireshark's a great tool, sometimes this is better, and you'll have instances where you'll choose this one over Wireshark. So like right now, let's do that same port or same capture again real quick, just to, or better yet, let's just look at everything on the wire right now. Okay, so you're going to get a bunch of stuff, right? Let me just close this out because I didn't capture it to read. So now we're going to do -w to write this out to a file. And we're going to call this, we just call it test.pcap. I'm not feeling too creative today. So now when we hit it, it's capturing everything out to a file called test.pcap. So now if we jump back over here and we hit refresh, okay, and then we hit this link right here, and then we go back to this and hit maybe this link again, and then go back. So we did some browsing here to that IP. Now let's also do this. Okay, let's refresh this. Let's type something else in. Do a lookup on that. All right, so we've done some traffic here, and we'll open another one up, and we'll just go to I don't know, x.com, and we'll grab another one, maybe something to give us a lot of junk, bbc. Co, I believe it is, or just do com. Just probably pull up the American one. There we go. Okay, so we've pulled up multiple websites here. All right, so we can Control C this and stop it. Now what we can do is we can just do a -R to read that file. But here's the cool part. Okay, that's the whole file, that's everything, and it's just the basic stuff. Okay, so if we can do the exact same stuff. -S and enhance the length of the packet. We can do a -X to write out the hex and ASCII. And we can also just do host and that IP address again. Let's go copy it because I have no idea what it is. And then we pop that in right here. And now we're just seeing the traffic for that IP. So it's real handy to be able to actually just, if you're testing something, sit there and capture it and then go back and analyze it when you're done. Or if you're doing a pen test and you need validation, but you're sitting there and you're trying to get evidence of something misconfigured or not working quite right, or you being able to exploit something, you can set this up and record that and have that as part of your evidence file. So it's really handy. That's it for this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll get around to them within a day or two probably. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.